Redeploy the tank. Build another tank.
Additional supply depots required.
Add on more barracks. I've basically got too much stuff. Too much money. I need to spend it. So I need to get the production facilities up to allow me to do that.
Research complete.
Ready for pickup?
Oh, that's cool. He actually has 2 tanks right in the middle, which means he's going to actually splash damage his own units. As you can see. Just like, I take some damage from that, but so does he. So, that should put him behind. Just clear this lag up a little bit. With some more drop capability out. Okay. Let's get more gas. Let's transfer some SCVs because we have way too many. Okay.
Insufficient rescue gas. Insufficient rescue gas. Insufficient rescue
Gas. And always the way. Next drop we can do a Hellbat drop, and it'll have a similar effect on his tanks. So that's always good. There we go. Trying to get my production academy into power mode. Okay. I guess he thought he lost too much shit. GG. Well, he did take a lot of damage, so I don't know how much of his stuff I actually killed. We'll have a quick look at the performance graph. Well, he didn't really take that much damage, like, not enough to justify him just leaving. He did definitely lose some units, though. Like, he lost workers here and he lost workers there. So he was behind in most aspects. I had way better upgrades. My resource collection rate was higher than his. And I had he actually had a way larger army. Interesting. Yeah, he probably could have just killed me. But he decided he was going to give up. Alright, cool. I'll take that. Puts me back to rank 10. Alright, that's enough ladder, I think. Let's do some customs. So, if you join the Totalbiscuit group on US, then we can set some stuff up. It's pretty easy. Just look for Totalbiscuit, and you can add yourself to the group. Yeah, it's funny, because if he'd actually pushed, like, right then, he may have won. I don't know. He might have. Like, I had 2 tanks in good position. He could have definitely pushed back, though. That would have been pretty good. It might have worked. I mean, it very well might have. Because I was kind of in this phase where I hadn't been keeping up with my production buildings, so I had a very small army, and I was just kind of keeping him back with drops and harass. And I was trying to build up my factories and my barracks just to actually really get my production going, but I just want to point out, by the way, that it doesn't matter if you're on EU or US with your account anymore. You can region switch. Click the region button on the front page. Everyone can join. You can go play on any region you wish. So yeah, I'm going to set up a couple of games. And then just join the Totalbiscuit group. Now what we're going to do is we're going to play something called Nexus Squadron Strike, which is one of my personal favorites. I like that very much right now. So I'm going to set the game up. Alright, if you are in the channel, if you are in the group chat and you want in, please type invite, and I will invite the first 7 people I can get, and then I'll explain how it works. Yeah, that's a lot of people. So, this is very much going to be a kind of invite at random situation. So, you'll have to forgive me. Alright, there we go. Okay, game's full. So, once we get everyone into the lobby, I will explain how Nexus Squadron Strike actually works. Okay, so before we start, I need everybody to select 2 lines. That is, 2 lines. This is where the lines are. If you select 1 line, you are a terrible person. Just want to point that out. 2 lines. Okay, so the point of Nexus Squadron Strike is to destroy your opponent's Nexus. It's a 4 versus 4 game. This version is with 2 lanes. You can have 3 lanes, 1 lane, crossover, whatever you want. So, what you have to do is you need to build units. And the way that you do that is by selecting a unit, placing it down. The unit will then spawn every 30 seconds based on the position of the unit. So if you want to create a formation, which I would recommend that you do, putting the fragile units at the back, the meat at the front, then you can definitely do that, and you should do it. It's very similar to Nexus Wars, but it's a little bit simpler in certain respects, in the sense that you don't have to time things so that they spawn together, you don't need to create buildings, they all move at the same speed, and so on and so forth. What you can do is you can upgrade individual unit spawns with a lot of different statistics to fairly ludicrous degrees. So it's actually possible to upgrade, say, a Hydralisk to do 110 damage a hit. It takes a shitload of money, and I would definitely not recommend it at all. You got to be very, very careful with what you choose to actually do in that respect. Very careful indeed. You also need to upgrade your income and your supply, so don't forget either of those things, because otherwise you will not be able to build a lot of units. And it's simply a case of balancing your unit production, upgrading your tiers of units. You can upgrade all 3 tiers of tech for all 3 different races if you so desire. You don't control your units in any way, so they're automatically fighting. It's a case of creating a formation and having the optimal unit composition to fight your opponent. Pretty much as simple as that. So we'll kick it off and we'll get started and see how it turns out for people. I am interested to see how these guys actually perform in this game. It's pretty cool. Like, it's probably one of my favorite customs right now. It's a nice little variant on the usual theme. Well, the stream's been fairly stable aside from those 2 little lag spikes. Everything's been pretty good. Now, holding the center will give you a 10% boost, or is it 8% to income, so that's always good. Usually good to hold on to that. You can also upgrade your Nexus with gas, and that will allow it to take more hits and also have a higher range and damage attack. And you can also buy nukes. Nukes are very, very expensive. You will not start with them by default in this mode, so in that sense, it's good to get a nuke so that you can get a chance to clear the board and get everybody rolling again. Alright. Cool, we're about ready to start. Here's hoping we don't drop anybody. Loading times on these things are always a pain in the ass. Alright, so we both have 2 lanes each, as you can see here. Oh, don't drop. There we go. Good, good, good. Okay, I'm going to start making Zerg units. Okay, he's opening with a Zealot. So I'm going to open with a Hydralisk. Well, it kind of matters, but and also not. It's fine. I don't really mind. Like, I'll be explaining my strategy, but I guess it's not really all that important. It's good to teach people, I think. So that is the formation, yeah? You see, they all spawn, they all run at the same speed. Zerglings are, you might think, are not amazing in this game. They're not that great. But you can do stuff like, if you get Baneling speed, for instance, they'll move at the same speed until they see an enemy unit, and then they'll power ahead into that unit, which is pretty useful. Alright, I'm going to grab a level of income, and we're going to see what he's got. Okay, so we have the edge here because I have a Hydralisk behind this, so Money comes in over time. You can also upgrade your income. And you also get cash and gas from killing units. So it's generally fairly important to be able to do that. Okay, so our composition right now is not bad. As you can see, we've kind of got the edge. Now, what I'd like to do to assist in this composition is add a roach. That's going to give us a little bit more buffer at the front. It's going to let our Hydralisk do a lot of damage. So as you can see, we've crossed this point here, which means we get the bonus income. Unit builders do not have collision. You cannot block or anything along those lines. So currently, we're actually slaughtering the bottom lane. They're going to have to sort that out pretty quickly. Otherwise, this will be a very, very short game indeed. Right now, we're currently winning the fight. Slightly. We just have a Stalker in play now, so that's always good for them. But I now have my Roach in play, so I'm going to grab a second set of income. There we go. Okay, so I've powered through that quite nicely. So they have a sentry in their composition. It's almost like mandatory to have a sentry in your composition as far as I'm concerned. Now their comp is actually slightly better than ours, so we'll definitely have to do something about that. Now, I can do some funky things here. Like, I can throw a few armor upgrades down on my Roach, and my Roach is going to become super tanky all of a sudden. This Roach now has 4 armor, and it also has 188 hit points. So, against Zealots, Zealots are going to do barely anything, which is really, really helpful. Now, he has upgraded his Zealot ever... Actually, we've upgraded our Zealot ever so slightly, so that's always handy. Now, the color of the unit will change slightly, depending on how upgraded it is, so you can see whether or not something's upgraded pretty much at a glance. Alright, so what you're going to see is when they engage against my Roach, unless they have a heavily upgraded guy, then my Roach is going to take a lot less damage. I can upgrade him even further, and Tank Roach will be the hero of the day. Tank Roach is a very, very viable strategy, I tend to find. You can basically upgrade them to the point where they take so little damage that it doesn't really matter. So that one's now got 5 armor. The next spawn's going to have about 7 armor, which means that Zealots aren't going to really do anything, and neither is the Sentry, and the Stalker's only going to do about half damage. So, currently we're winning that engagement there. Bottom lane's looking pretty good for us. Mass Zealot spam, by the looks of it, coming out from them. Yeah, they've got... Wow, look at that formation. That is a heavy formation. Some people like to do a lot of different units, which is... It's a reasonable strategy, but you've got to bear in mind that if you build too many, your supply actually takes a real pounding, so... Not necessarily so good. Alright, so Tank Roach has 8 armor. So, Tank Roach cares not for your Sentry and takes actually no damage from it whatsoever, which is pretty funny. Now, some of these Zealots are probably upgraded, so the chances are they're going to slice through regardless, but Tank Roach should do pretty well regardless. Okay. Yeah, these are pretty heavily upgraded Zealots. So, we're going to have to look into different tiers now. We could go up to tier 2, and we could look at some stuff here. So, now I have tier 2 available. Now, looking at their composition, pretty Zealot heavy at the front. Tier... And we lost a player. Great. Awesome. We have Balers. Well, you can still play. You do get... I believe you can claim their worker and do stuff with that, but... Unfortunately, it really sucks when people just bail out on you like that. Alright, I'm thinking either an Aberration or a Lurker is probably a good idea here. It's getting pretty... Yeah, it looks like we're going to win that game anyway, so I guess they just bailed because they were losing, so never mind. Yeah, bottom lane fails pretty hard. We might need to do a 1-lane game because I just have this feeling that, like, if we get newbies in here, then doing a 2-lane game means that they're just going to die. So I think we'll do a 1-lane game next. They tend to drag on for a little while, but it's kind of better than having players just fail horribly and then lose the game. That's exactly what's kind of happened here. We're actually losing the top lane right now, but not by much. Not enough to really be a problem. And now I've got a Lurker in play, and I'm pretty sure they have no detection, so this is going to start slicing them up quite nicely. There we go. Yeah, so the Lurker's now going to work its way through. Hopefully stop being an idiot deploying in the wrong place. There we go. So this stuff's going to start melting. Can even add a second Lurker in there. Although you need supply for that, so that's when you kind of upgrade your supply, get another level of income. Now that we have the Lurkers in play and they have no detection, their waves actually fail, so all of their stuff's going to die, which is always good. We'll eventually get detection. They're actually holding the line quite nicely down there, so we're not out of the game yet by any stretch of the imagination. Now, against a lot of Stalkers, an Aberration would be pretty good. I'm hoping they remain in a situation where they don't actually have any detection. I think Aberration does bonus damage to Armored, so that might be a good idea. Roach Tank is doing okay, but they upgraded their Zealots a lot, so even Roach Tank's mighty strength may not be enough. It is quite funny to see the Stalkers doing about 3 damage there. Okay. That is obnoxious, don't do that. Okay, let's build an Aberration. Aberration, super tanky, nasty unit. I can't remember exactly what kind of damage he does and what he hits, but I mean, by default he's already got a lot of life. So I'm gonna throw a bunch of extra life on him. Our lurkers are going to continue to work their way through here. It seems like they still don't have any detection, which is a big mistake. To be fair, we kind of need our own as well. So if Augustus could build a observer, that would be nice. Nice. Yeah, we're going to slice through that quite easily. Now the DT's in the mix as well, so that's always good. Alright, so what does the Aberration do damage to? Yeah, it's plus armored. I thought so. Yeah, so that's a really good way of dealing with Stalkers. They're already pretty tough. You can throw a couple of extra health on there to take them to about 550 life. So that's basically an Ultralisk. Just without the cleave. Upgrading Ultralisks is hilarious. One time I had an Ultralisk with about 1,500 HP and 15 armor. They're pretty hard to kill. Alright, we're forcing our way through there. The Lurkers are helping out an awful lot in that regard. And now I have that Aberration, which is just running rampant. And we're going to fight their spawn directly. Aberration's doing a pretty good job. It's what we like to see. I've got a lot of gas. We might want to maybe upgrade the Aberration's damage a little bit. So Aberration's now going to hit a lot harder. Not until he spawns the next wave, though. Aberration's having a fun time, and they might die now. Or at least come close to it. Gas is used to upgrade the Nexus and save up for nukes. Also to upgrade tiers. Bear in mind you can upgrade all of the tiers of units, so you can have tier 3 of everything if you wish. Nice, the medic's healing the Aberration, that's pretty cool. And there's the GG. Sweet. Yeah, stream seems stable right now, aside from the usual frame drops or something like that. Alright, I'm going to set up a new game. We're going to do 1 lane this time because it's easier for newer players. The problem with doing 2 lanes is that if 1 lane fails and doesn't know what it's doing, then it screws the game up for everybody else. 1 lane does have a tendency to drag on a little bit longer. Alright, invites coming in for the next game. There's so much spam, I'm just kind of inviting at random right now. Sorry, it's the best that I can do. I'm gonna invite Ishmandu because he's the only one that said please. The rest of you are impolite motherfuckers. Alright, we're selecting 1 lane for this one. 1 lane. And we'll play no nuke. Which means that you don't start with a nuke. Oh, actually, no, it doesn't. It's normal. Never mind. No nuke means that you can't even buy them. Normal means that you can buy them, but you don't get them by default. Yeah, we'll have normal. I mean, no nuke's fine too. You used to start with nukes and it dragged the game out forever. Now you have to buy them, which is good. It's pretty silly that you didn't have to do that. Okay, I'll re-invite Mesh then. If I can find him on the list. Oh, wow. This list isn't even alphabetical. This is not all that helpful. There he is. Let's try inviting him again. And if this fails, I'll get somebody else. I was wondering what's coming out tomorrow, by the way. WTF is Super Puzzle Platformer Deluxe is coming out tomorrow. And then tomorrow I will work on my Xbox One content patch. And another WTF is. There's going to be a lot of focus on WTF is over the next couple of weeks. Because I've been slacking on it. Can't be having any of that. Oh, and I believe next week you get to find out what my super secret project is, by the way. So do keep an eye on the channel for that. Alright, this is one lane mode. So, everyone is fighting in one lane. It's a little bit easier for newer players. It also means that better players can kind of save up income and go for the really big stuff, while the newer players kind of fight off each other, which is pretty good. So, let's get into this. In the meantime... Yes, I have a Baker Cat button now. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. I thought I'd add that to my little repertoire of stuff that I can bring up. Now I can press the Baker Cat button at pretty much any time for delicious jazzy goodness. Alright, okay. Alright, so I am actually not going to build anything. I am going to sit here and I'm going to start to build up income. And then I'll build something if we are losing the battle. But what this is going to let me do is... I love you. What the fuck? So I'm going to build up income. And then I will build something later. You can do this in this kind of mode. Alright, we're immediately going to lose that engagement. Alright. Okay, so we're gonna need a roach. Or a baneling. Baneling might work. You can actually upgrade banelings to stupid levels, by the way. Actually, we've got a bunch of marines. We'll probably be fine. I'll see what the next wave is like, and then maybe I'll build some units. Okay, so we slightly lose that engagement. I'll get one more income, and then I'll build a roach, which should give us the buffering that we need. Yeah, there's Zealot heavy, so again, I can go with the roach tank build. Yeah, they're slicing us to pieces right now. So we'll go with the roach tank build. Someone should build a baneling, because that would be ideal. Considering they're all bunched up, a baneling would do really, really well. In fact, I might build a baneling. Now I'm going to put the baneling slightly behind, because I want the zealots to bunch up around the roach and then get hit by the baneling. So there we go. And then I'm going to upgrade roach tank. Sweet, so we now have, yeah, we have enough to win that engagement now. Since they're, again, very zealot heavy, I can play the kind of armor build here. I have sufficient units to do pretty well, I think. Engage the drum and bass! As you can see, those carapace upgrades are quite the thing. And they're going to continue to be quite the thing with that composition. They'll probably start changing it now that I've talked about it, but whatever. Roach tank is best tank. Also, roach tank with burrow is great, because that means you can regen the health before the next fight. Okay, roach tank now has 4 armor, so roach tank cares not for pretty much anything you've got. Those banelings were a great choice, it seems. So that's going to work out pretty well. You can upgrade a baneling, so it'll do about 200 damage, and it is as hilarious as it sounds. Alright, good. So we're currently winning the fight. We'll see what they decide to do. I think if any of our team's still listening, building a sentry would be good, because you can add a guardian shield to this composition, which works really, really well. So I would recommend it. Roach tank eventually dies. It was a brave engagement by Roach tank, but there we go. So we can shut this composition down. It's pretty even right now. Okay, let's look at income. So currently me and Terminator are doing pretty well. I Will Fail is building up a lot. So it's pretty much back and forth right now. I don't really have the gas to upgrade to tier 2 yet. I doubt any of us do, really. Cool, so good, we have a double sentry, which is always nice. Roach tank is battling bravely. It's gonna eventually die to fire bats, but hey. I think Roach tank needs more armor. I really shouldn't be doing that, though. I need more units. As tempting as it is to have a 50 armor Roach tank, I really do need to build units. So a couple of Hydralisks at the back never did anybody any harm. Give us that actual damage, and then put grooved spines on both of them. And then you can start upgrading them to silly levels. It really is quite funny. There we go. Oh, this guy's upgraded his weapons so they fire much, much faster. Yeah, you can do that. It's pretty cool. Oh, they've got their own banelings. Alright. Well, my marines are so good. Die immediately to banelings. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. Roach tank is going to need more. Let's get that armor up. Yeah, you can get around it. Like, you can just upgrade the HP of them. Oh, my God. Oh, that was horrible. Yeah, we're having some problems with this composition right now. XP doesn't mean anything. You don't have to worry about it. There we go. Very nice. Alright, I'm looking for a tier 2 upgrade. Which I can do when I have enough gas. These banelings. Thankfully we had a fire bat in front, which dealt with that quite nicely. So with the Hydras there, we should have the damage we need to push this back. And then I can go for tier 2 and I can start to add some fun things into the composition. Okay, tier 2. Alright, stuff you can add at tier 2. Swarm hosts. Those are pretty good. Lurkers. Very, very good. They have no detection right now, so a lurker would be pretty decent, but I will need to create supply before I can build that. Sweet, so we currently have a decent composition, but they do hold the middle, and these marines are very, very vulnerable to these banelings. As you can see, we lose our tank stuff at the front, and then we get into this engagement. Man, Roach tank's taking a lot of damage. Is that an upgraded Stalker? Yeah, that would explain it. Why did you give me all your gas? That's no use. And eventually I might have to request gas so I can buy a nuke, but they are actually pushing in pretty hard. Definitely need a lurker. Oh, they have DTs? So we need an observer right now. Whoever can build an observer, build one. They have a DT. No one has detection. Alright, let's get my lurker up. Do we have any detection? No, no one's building an observer. We might lose them. Okay, we'll have an observer in the next wave, but we might actually lose right now. Which is dreadful. Upgrading Nexus Life. We might push this back. Especially with the lurker, and we do have an Archon in the mix now as well, so we're not dead yet, but this is not as good as it should be. At least my lurker's down, and my lurker is actually fighting, so that's always good. We can maybe add a second lurker. Yeah, I still think they're lacking detection. Okay, so my lurker is definitely able to contribute to this fight, but I do need to upgrade the range of the lurker weapon. We might still lose this. It's actually looking pretty bad. Unfortunately, Twalt's strategy of build a lot of marines tends to get ridiculously hard countered. Who knew? Concentrate on that lurker.